Okay, that is my signal to get started. Thank you, Tabitha. Um, Welcome, Gene and Landon. Thank you for coming on today and being a part of the Aiken Association of Realtors Candidate Forum for the Aiken County Council District 4 primary election. We do appreciate you guys' time to take with us here and answer a few questions. I'm Jacob Klerman. I'm the current Legislative Committee Chairman and the past president on the Board of Directors for the Aiken Association of Realtors. Other people who are on the call with us, I'll just run through. You got Tad Barber down at the bottom. He is the current president of the Aiken Association of Realtors Board of Directors. You have KT Ruffin. He is the president-elect right now, so he will be the president next year. You have Tabitha Amodio. She is our association executive. Think of Tabitha as the CEO of the Association of Realtors. She runs everything behind the scenes. We couldn't do anything to do without her on the association level. Ruthie Graham is a committee member on the legislative committee. She's a realtor at Maybaum Real Estate. Monique Jones is also a committee member on the legislative committee. So thanks for coming. I like to give you an idea of whose faces you are seeing. We should have some other attendees that will come on the call. They won't be pictured though. So kind of the layout for this would be, take a couple of minutes, 2, 3, 4 minutes to introduce yourself. Tell us anything you'd like to make in somewhat of an opening statement format. After that, we're going to go through some questions that some of them pertain directly to real estate. Some are just, generalized questions about the position that you guys are going for. Obviously the idea of this is it's going to be recorded and it's going to be given out to the membership of the realtors. So we have about 1,000 members, give or take, that this is going to be sent out to. And, many may be in you guys' district, many may not, but, it's always nice to know about what may be happening with a new position on the county council. So after that, some attendees may put questions and answers in the chat here, and if we see any, we'll get to that at the end, and then we'll give closing remarks. So for the question and answer piece, we're going to try to limit those responses to about 2 minutes. If you you see Tabitha or I put our hand up, try to wrap up your thought, and we'll go on to the next question. So without further ado, I guess let's go with Mr. Landon Ball. We'll give you the start. So go ahead and give us your introduction. And
all right.
Please.
Well, thank you. My name is Landon Ball. I am running for the District 4 County Council position. We've lived in Aiken County for almost 20 years now. Most of the time in North Augusta. We lived about 10 years up near Exit 5, and then for the last 8 years, going on 9 years, right here in River North community down by the river, and absolutely love the area here. Wouldn't mind if I spend the rest of my life here. Lots of things to do. We like using the river. We like the kind of central location. You can get to the coast, you can get to the mountains. Lots of things to do in this area, and you've got the CSRA, good sized city area with lots of things to do. But if you do need to go to a big city, a couple hours away. So overall, love the area. My background is in mechanical engineering. I have bachelor's and master's degree in mechanical engineering. I work over at Textron Specialized Vehicles, the makers of E-Z-GO golf cars and a bunch of other small vehicles that you'll see around at different types of events and things like airports and snowmobiles, ATVs, side-by-sides, all that. So I've gotten more into politics and government with my job. I'm Director of Regulatory Compliance, and I experience a lot of the difficulties that businesses go through working with government agencies. And part of the reason I'm running is that I'd like to, help businesses navigate and be able to move to our area and be successful, as well as ensure that regulations aren't getting out of control and basically pushing businesses and jobs out of our country, out of our county, those kinds of things. My bottom line is, I support stability, safety, our county sheriff, our emergency workers, low taxes. And basically, I want to see our county continue to grow on a nice trajectory with some planning and forethought put in place before things happen, infrastructure improvements, et cetera, so that we can continue to grow on a nice pace and be business friendly, work to get additional businesses to move into the county, and have a good mix of different types of jobs, from manufacturing, services industry, tourism, medical, et cetera. And so there's a lot of things that I think the county can work on and push for to help move things along and make us continue to be a desirable county.
That's great. Thank you, Landon. Mr. Gene, you pronounce it Helmich?
Helmick, yes.
Helmich. Okay, thank you, sir.
Well, I've been here about 33 years in Aiken County, all of it in North Augusta. I'm a mechanical engineer. I worked at Savannah River site. I'm a West Point graduate, Army veteran. I have a master's of international management. I've lived overseas in Asia, Europe, and the Mideast. So I've got a broad experience of work experience. And the reason I'm running is I've had a very blessed life. And now I have the time and energy to give back. And that's what I've been doing. I've been mostly volunteering. I'm president of the Friends of the Nancy Carson Library. And right now we're going through a big renovation with the county. And that's really kind of where I've interfaced with county government and seen how they work, seen the advantages, the disadvantages, the money they have, how they spend it. And it's been kind of eye-opening. And when Kelly Mobley said he wasn't going to run, I was asked to run. I thought about it and I thought, this is an opportunity to give back to the county. I think the county is well run. It's a well-managed county. North Augusta is a well-managed city. And I'd like to be part of that. And that's why I'm running.
Okay. Thank you, Gene. Appreciate those introductions, and all that sounds very great. I'll need to have 2 mechanical engineers running for the same seat.
That could be bad.
Yeah.
Battle of the engineers. Okay, well, we'll roll straight into the questions. So, what is your stance on increasing utility access within the county limits to assist with residential and commercial development? And let's start with Gene this time.
Well, like Landon said, I believe in planning. We don't want 10,000 apartments in North Augusta with no affordable housing for anyone, just like we don't want $1 million homes in North Augusta with no apartments. I think the county needs to plan. They need to make sure they have the infrastructure to support what they allow to be built. We don't want to be like Columbia County or South Augusta, where you build it all and you don't have the roads or you don't have the schools to support what's built. But at the same time, we don't want to stop building till we get that all done. I think we need a long-term plan, think about it, lay it out, and approve what we say we want to have happen. It's, I think that's the way it is with housing. With commercial, it's the same way. Aiken County is in a sweet spot for commercial. We have an interstate. We have Savannah River. We have the National Lab. We have 2 colleges. We have one of the biggest medical centers in the Southeast. We have the Cyber Center at Fort Eisenhower. All of those are things that the county should be building on to bring industry and high-paying jobs to the county. And that's what I would hope to work on on the county council.
Thank you. All right, Landon?
Could you repeat the question one more time? This,
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What is your stance on increasing utility access within the county limits to assist with residential and commercial development?
Yeah, so on that topic of increasing utility access, I basically share a lot of the same ideas of Gene. I think we could have better planning, kind of long-term planning, but that still needs to be adjusted on a regular basis as things change. So what I'd like to see the county council do is work towards having plans for how different areas of the county are likely to develop. And if there are particular areas that we want to see preserved, put those out on a map. I actually found like York County does a nice map where they have future land use planned out. And something like that would be a good way to do, advanced planning and figure out where the utilities need to be and make estimates about future usage of utilities so that we can plan wisely and get out ahead of it. And the biggest thing for businesses is they need stability in politics, in land acquisition, real estate, security, safety of the residents. You can't be changing things on them every couple of years. It makes it too difficult to plan, too difficult to operate. And having a long-term plan of how the county is going to approve different areas for land use could be very valuable. And that would be something I'd like to see done. But absolutely, we need a long-term plan, and we do need to make sure that we are looking at, what the needs are going to be and planning for that and promoting that.
Thank you. So that kind of leads into the next question, which is economic growth is crucial for the prosperity of Aiken County. What strategies would you propose to attract new businesses here and support the existing ones? And Landon, it looks like you're up first this time.
Okay. So I think the things are basically reasonably simple to promote and attract growth. We need an educated workforce. We need to look at what our technical schools and our high schools are doing for job training, so that we have people who can do the actual work, who can fill jobs as things develop. So schools are very important, all the way from elementary school up through trade schools, technical schools, and college. We also need good public safety. I'm a strong supporter of police, the sheriff, and all of our first responders. We need to keep our crime rates low. We need stability. We need people to know that they can live here and it's a safe community. And we also need low taxes. We can't be pushing our businesses out and having them scared that, we're going to bring them in and then raise taxes on them once they get here. So, again, going back to stability and keeping things to where they can plan long term, that's going to attract businesses to come in and invest in our county. If they see that we've got a good plan for infrastructure, and we're looking at supporting industry long term, and that we have a plan for land use so that they can look at properties, they can plan where facilities can go, and kind of count on that they won't go into a development project and then find out a year or so in that everything gets rejected and they're kicked out and they're on the run. So putting things in place that help to facilitate stability and planning for businesses, keeping taxes low, keeping our citizens safe, primary things that I think we need to do to move forward there.
Thank you. Gene?
Well, I agree with everything Landon said. That was very good. I think we need to also, as I said, we've got a great transportation network. We've got, I think in 2023, we were the 7th lowest county for taxes in the state. So we've got low taxes. We need to emphasize that. As I said, we've got great industry here to build off of with the site, the lab, Cyber Command, all those are good jobs. And I think the county needs to really emphasize that we're here to support those industries. Cyber is going to be a huge, huge thing. As Landon said, cyber industry is looking for educated workers. I think we have pretty good education. The county council doesn't really get involved, but I think they can certainly support it. I think we need to push those things as industries that we want in Aiken County. We want cyber industry here. It's a huge, huge coming industry, and there's no reason it wouldn't be centered here in the Southeast. Cyber Command is a huge deal with lots of government money, and there's going to be lots of spinoff of companies in the area, and we should make a concerted effort to have them in Aiken County. We should also look at where the growth in the county is. Right now, a lot of it's in North Augusta and Aiken, the south part of the county. The north part of the county is almost being depopulated. We need to look at doing stuff to see if that's what the people want. Can we put something up there to make it a more attractive area for industry and people? I think that's something county council could look at.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Do you think the county council can work with the city council to balance the growth of Aiken within the city limits and in the county?
I guess that's to me, since I'm
Yeah.
first this time. I would hope so. I know there's a natural tension between the city of North Augusta and the county. District 4 is really almost all the city of North Augusta. There's a few spots not in the city, but essentially it's all the city of North Augusta. I'd like to think I could work with the city. I found as president of the Friends of the Library, working with lots of different groups, raising money for the renovation, working with county staff in that, it's, and volunteers. Sometimes you have to be willing to listen and change your ideas and be accommodating to what other people want. I'd like to think I could do that and work for the betterment of both the city and the county on county council.
Okay, thank you. Andy?
So yeah, I mean, I agree with Gene on that. I feel like I would be able to work with city council and the mayor of North Augusta. I've got good relationships with a number of the city council folks who are on city council. I've known them for a number of years. So I have the ability to get in there and work with them on projects together. And so I don't see any issue with that. And I'm very good at listening to people, listening to all sides, and as an engineer, using rational thought and reasoning to bring people together and get to a workable solution that works for both. I try to not get extremely political and just offensive and take sides. I like to listen to what people have to say and figure out how to work with both sides and work on, if there are sticking points, how do we get to a reasonable compromise that, as Gene said, that's successful for the county and for the city of North Augusta. So absolutely, I feel like I could do a great job of working with both the county council and the North Augusta City Council on that note.
Thank you. Tabitha, can you ask this next one real quick? I got to grab a phone call.
Yes, I can do that. What will you do in your position to enhance the towns in the county that could use a boost in making sure they remain viable towns and not be dying rural towns? Examples like Wagner, Graniteville, our beautiful small towns that we have in Aiken County. And Gene, you can go first.
Okay. Well, as I said, if you look at the population in Aiken County, it's really been growing in the south part of the county. The north part, really not so much. I think the county can look at doing industrial development there, putting parks in that area, county parks, and encouraging businesses to locate in the small counties or in the small cities, I'm sorry. And, you know, it's not just North Augusta and Aiken, it's all of Aiken County. And to a certain extent, the county is limited to what they can do, but they do have a budget. They can direct money for different projects in different cities that will bring people there. I think people are looking, as we've said, for good schools, for safety. Those are all things that the county can help to encourage. And I would do that because we don't want to have two big cities and the rest of the county empty.
Yeah, very similar. So some of the ideas I have that I'd like to see, you know, the county work jointly with the cities to help improve would be some of the gateway projects. And I know we're looking at, you know, how do we make sure that our other towns aren't dying out. But for instance, right up from where I live, there's a potential project for Aiken County to work with North Augusta to improve US 1 coming in. And so looking at projects like that where we can improve the look and feel of the town as you enter it. You know, Graniteville has a lot of new development going on along US 1, and it's got some really nice features. I mean, you know, it's a nice community. You've got the pond up there, Langley Pond, really nice park up there. And a lot of people don't know about those things. So, you know, kind of working with the towns to improve the gateways to these communities could probably help to bring people in, because there's a lot of families who don't want to live in the city center. They want to live in a more rural spot, and they're willing to drive a little ways, but they don't want to live in an area that looks trashy and run down. So with some help along some of the main roads in these towns and the entry points, that can be improved. And I don't have a lot of great ideas on this one, but I see it as an issue. You know, we have a litter problem, both with businesses not cleaning up their properties and along our roads and our intersections. And, you know, I'd like to work with the cities and the county council to see what else we could do to improve the litter pickup, encourage people to not litter, those kinds of things to basically clean up our area so that it presents well, you know, and that will help encourage growth in both the, you know, North Augusta, Aiken, city of Aiken, as well as some of these smaller towns. If we can get, you know, keep things cleaner so that they're more, they just look more inviting for people to move there and live there.
Thank you, Landon. Engaging with the community and ensuring transparency are essential for effective governance. What methods would you employ to ensure the community is informed and involved in council decisions that may affect them?
You want me to start off with that one?
Yeah, sure. Sorry.
Okay. Well, one of the things is what Kelly Mobley was working on, and they may have in place, but to put where the county council meetings are actually publicly broadcast or streamed, so that people can watch what's going on. I am absolutely in full support of transparency of government. I do like, you know, how Aiken County publishes their budget. They show where the main expenses are going. So things like that to make sure that people know they can find those things could help with the perception of transparency. I think Aiken County does a pretty good job of being transparent, but you know, there are areas that can be improved, and things like streaming the meetings and making sure that people know where to find things to keep things so that the perception is of transparency. I think that could improve things.
Thank you. Gene?
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I don't think you can have too much openness in government, whether it's city, county, state, or federal. You know, publishing records, having the budget public, broadcasting meetings, all those things I think are important. You know, you could have meetings in different locations. I guess they don't always have to be in Aiken. So it would be easier for other citizens to come to a meeting. You know, have one meeting a year in North Augusta, have one in the up county. That would make, you know, county council, county staff more available to people rather than drive all the way to Aiken. I know for some reason it's not far, but you know, when you live in North Augusta, 5 minutes is far. Aiken's forever. So that, you know, there's lots of things that could be done. And, you know, I think the more you do, the more open it is, the better it is for everyone. And, you know, I would not be opposed to considering almost any idea to make it open and available to the citizens.
Yeah, and if I could just add to this is, you know, through my career, I have found that the best way to build trust with any group of people is transparency. So, you know, if we're not out to do bad things, there's no reason to not be transparent. And so I push for transparency. I mean, sometimes people accuse me of too much, but I feel like communication is key, and that builds trust with whoever the people are, whether it's in business or with the public, et cetera. It's very, very important.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Gene. Aiken County is known for its natural beauty and resources. What policies or initiatives would you support to promote environmental conservation and sustainable development in our county? Sorry.
I was going to say, I think the best thing the city of North Augusta has ever done in the whole time I've lived here is the Greenway. You see everybody in the city on the Greenway. I walk the Greenway 6 days a week, every morning with my dog. It's a great, great thing. I would encourage the county to think about having a whole system of greenways throughout the county, have county parks, not just Hitchcock Woods, you know, but have parks throughout the county. North Augusta has a great park system that, from little kids playing soccer, playing baseball, they have the Peach Jam. All those things are what make a city wonderful. And the county, I think, could do more. They've done Langley Pond, but I think the county could step up and do more in that area with county parks. You know, we've got lots of land yet. The county could go out and do a park system. You know, I think those are the things. And in developments, there's no reason that developments couldn't put in their own greenway to tie in with a county plan. But all those things have to be thought out ahead of time so that it can all be put in and, you know, and work and be a good thing for the county. Those would be ideas that I would have.
Yeah, to kind of bounce off of that and going back to the advanced planning that I would push for would be to look at including things like extensions of the Greenway or make more of a Greenway system throughout the county. But also in looking at how we develop, I'd like to see us look at, you know, how can we encourage repurposing the use of old buildings? You know, one thing where I grew up in South Florida, there was miles and miles of vacant shopping centers, and we don't see that so much here. But that's one thing that I want to make sure we avoid is having too much retail and it goes vacant and it's not rebuilt or redeveloped. So I would encourage and work to push to have, you know, older developments, properties that are already developed, either renovated or redeveloped, so that we're not using up all of our land that's open if we don't need to. I'm certainly open to development where it makes sense, but going back to kind of the long-term plan, if there are areas that a lot of citizens feel strongly about preserving, we should set those aside. We should look at are there ways to make permanent, you know, preserve, you know, certain features or areas around waterways or things like that need to be preserved. Set that aside so people can plan and know what's going on. I think as we're developing, we need to push to make sure that good engineering is done on these projects up front. so that it takes into account, water runoff and where things are going, what types of emissions the business might have, and work with them to make sure we cover all that so that they're not getting in trouble, they're not getting surprised at the last minute. Make sure those things are considered up front. And as I said, I work in the regulatory compliance group now, and I deal a lot with different government agencies, and surprises are just devastating for businesses. So my thing would be to have a lot of these long-term plans out there, be able to, let businesses see what the requirements are, and work with departments like South Carolina DHEC, which is now the Department of Environmental Services, where they split it up, but help businesses work with those entities to understand what the requirements are, so that we meet the environmental requirements up front and plan that into the projects. So those are some of the ideas that I have, and yeah.
Okay, thank you. What is your opinion of the county's 1 cent sales tax? Do you support the renewal this year? And this will go to Gene. This is the 1 cent sales tax they've used to build all the new schools. It's up for renewal this year.
Well, I would say, I think the county has been very fiscally conservative, and I think I would support that. I think the county has used the money they've gotten. The capital project tax 4 is what's provided the money for the Nancy Carson Library renovation. Money hadn't been spent on the library in 30 years. The county came up with money to do that. The Friends have matched it $1 for every 2 the county has spent. So I would say, from what I've seen of how they spend their money, it's been well used, and I think I would support that. You can't have a county government with no money, because all the wonderful things we've talked about are not going to happen. If you want good roads, good schools, parks, greenways, Langley Pond, all these other things, it takes money. Nobody wants to hear that, but it takes money. Right now, Aiken County is 6 or 7 lowest in the state for taxes. I think we can afford 1 cent. And I would assume they would spend it wisely, because that's what the tracker record shows that the county government has done. So I would support that.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Gene.
my position is the same. I feel like we've gotten very good benefit out of those special sales taxes, and the good thing is they expire. They're not permanent, and so those can be voted down each time they expire, so that if there aren't good projects, or if the money is not being spent wisely, they can be eliminated. I would not support adding permanent taxes that just become part of the slush fund. Those, the special purpose taxes like that are far better. And again, I support the, renewing that this year.
Thank you. Tad, would you like to ask your follow-up question on the utilities? Let you word it in such a way.
Yeah. One of the issues that the county's dealing with right now is running out of sewer capacity, which could limit future development in the counties and the cities of North Augusta and Aiken, because they all tie into the same system. Do you have an opinion, either one of you, on the need and the importance on expanding that capacity before it affects the growth in city of North Augusta, in your case, and really the whole county as a whole?
I can go first on this one. I know that there, the system that's there in the sewer piping that's underground and all that is very old. A lot of that is going to need replaced at some point. And it is definitely time to look at the future and what's, what we need to do long term to support the growth, as well as maintain the infrastructure that's there, because the pipes are rotting out. We've had issues in our neighborhood here where the pipes are literally completely corroded away and just fall in. That would be one of the items that I would push for to have on the planning committees to look at how we're going to both improve what's there and expand it appropriately, looking at where growth is happening and where we project growth, and where we're going to have industrial areas like the Sage Industrial Park, Sage Valley Industrial Park. Make sure that we're looking at how do we get proper services to those areas and to the areas that are seeing a lot of development.
And I think I would agree with that. I think as we've talked, both of us have talked about long-term planning. If you don't have the infrastructure, you're not going to do anything. Obviously, you want the sewer systems to be in the cities, to be up to snuff. You don't want to be contaminating groundwater. And if you want to do development, you're going to have a system there to support it. Nobody sees it, but you can't build without it. So I would say it's extremely important, just like good roads are important, having a reliable power system, all those things the county needs to think about before they allow development so that they can support the development that's coming. Because I firmly believe Aiken County is going to boom for the next X number of years because of, Savannah Riverside and Cyber Command. I mean, it's just going to happen whether we want it or not. So we have to plan for it. And that includes, sewers, utilities, all of it.
Thank you, Gene. Any other committee members have any further questions at this time? We're kind of running low here with questions, and I don't have any more in the Q&A or the chat. So any committee members like to come off mute, say anything? Okay, KT.
This morning we interviewed the sheriff's candidates, and a question came up about squatters. Right now, there's really no law except for trespassing. It's a hard way because I didn't really think about how to phrase the question, but besides just saying, would you be pro or against coming up with a county ordinance against squatters? And if there's anything else you want to add to that topic, please feel free.
Well, I've seen news stories on that, and I am horrified that can even be a thing where people can literally be stuck with squatters in a property that they own. So yes, I would absolutely be in support of a county ordinance that would prevent that and ensure that people who own property have good property rights to be able to, evict somebody who is, unauthorized to be on their property.
I would say I'm not a lawyer. I've had rental property in the area for 15 years or more. We never had a problem with squatters either in Augusta or in North Augusta. The officials were very supportive of my rights. I would be absolutely opposed to somebody just moving in and sitting there. If somebody did that in my property, I'd have probably had a stroke. But when you own it and you work on it, and it's not easy. I could see where squatters would make you furious, and I would definitely support, if it's legal, a county ordinance to prohibit that.
Thank you. Yes, as a property manager, I
We had Maybaum actually as a property manager.
probably have a concurrent stroke with you. Okay, so We've kind of come to the end of our questions. So if you guys would like to, kind of give some closing statements, any 30,000-foot visions, I mean, anything else you'd like to share with us, we can go ahead and wrap this up and get you guys back to what I'm sure is a busy schedule. And we'll go to Landon first.
All right, so just in closing, I want to thank you guys for holding this. I think these kinds of forums are really good. You get to ask a lot of good questions. And it helps us think about, what we're in it for. And I appreciate that. And I, when Tabitha, when you called me, I thought, this is a great opportunity. Real estate is something that, we all deal with when we're homeowners or, property owners. And it's extremely important that we, support the ability to buy and sell property and to develop but do it in a reasonable way, put things in place so that there's not so much confusion and that we can all work together to, as Gene said, it's going to happen. The growth of Aiken County is going to happen whether we like it or not. We're far better off if we do some planning and we develop in a more planned and structured way than if it's just haphazard and in fits and spurts and people are angry and things aren't getting approved because they're, fights over, what this property area is going to be used for and that property area. And if some of that is set up in planning up front, it makes things move a lot smoother down the road and there aren't so many fights with citizens, et cetera. And it, proper planning is going to help all of us to work better together. And, in closing, I do want to say that I feel like, the one question you guys had about working with the city governments, as I said, I've got a good relationship. I personally know a number of the North Augusta council people. I know the mayor. I feel like I could work good with those people and be able to both represent North Augusta, but also represent the entire county and work together to see Aiken County thrive and prosper, as well as North Augusta and our other smaller towns in the county. So I like to look at it from a big picture and consider all points of view, listen to facts and data as an engineer, and then hopefully make good decisions that we can stand behind.
Thank you, Landon.
Well, I'd like to thank all of you also for doing this. I think it's a great opportunity for both of us. And I wish more organizations would do this and take an interest in local elections and local politics and not just complain about it as some people tend to do. As I said before, I've had a blessed life. I'm happy to be here. I now have the time and energy to do this. I've done, I know some of the people on council, I know the mayor, but I've worked in a lot of volunteer organizations and organizing volunteers and getting things accomplished, I'm sure, is no more difficult than working with elected officials. I mean, no one on council is going to get 100% of what they want. I would present, I think planning is extremely important, not only like the cost of building a new building or a new whatever facility, but also the carry-on costs, the maintenance costs, the retirement costs for the staff that are in the building. County needs to think of all of those so that dollars are spent wisely. I'm a fiscal conservative. I'm not going to be throwing money at things, but I think Aiken County is well managed now. I would like to continue in that vein and work with the current county council or whoever's elected to make Aiken County an outstanding place to live, for business to be. We have great things to build on. That's what we need to emphasize. That's what we need to do. And that's what I would do on county council. Thank you all.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day. If there legislative committee members can hang on after we let Landon and Jean go, just for a brief discussion. Landon and Jean, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time. Like I said, we will send this out to our membership, and those that have an interest in viewing it will view it, and they'll be more informed. And we have a pretty good amount of people who do a lot of operating in y'all's district, so I'm sure they'll be happy to hear they've got a couple of good candidates on the ride.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Yeah, have a good day.
Thanks, guys.